How's it going, everyone? We are coming up on the release of the DioField Chronicle, a brand new tactical JRPG coming from Square Enix. The game officially drops tomorrow, but Square Enix was nice enough to hook me up with a review copy of the game. I've been playing it. I have about 20 hours in the game, just completed Chapter 5. Not a full review here, but I do want to give you guys my initial impressions and what I overall think about the game, because this is a game that I am really enjoying, more so than I thought I would have, and a lot of that is because I'm not big into tactics titles, and obviously it being a real-time tactics game, I was like, I don't know if the gameplay style is going to be for me, but it's accessible enough for somebody that's not super into tactics game, and what I was super interested in was the narrative. The characters seemed compelling, I like the design of the game, and those elements have really delivered. So there's a lot to talk about, but again, about 20 hours, just completing Chapter 5. I am doing all the side content in the game, so that's why it's taking me a little bit longer to finish up the game, and we'll talk about the side content in a little bit as far as what it entails. But the DioField Chronicle, again, a brand new tactical JRPG that has a rather grandiose scope in terms of telling this grand tale. It's a very, very political story, different factions, different groups, everybody kind of vying for power, and it's a little hard to follow initially, but things start coming together really nicely. And if you're into that large-scale political story, a lot of mystery, intrigue, backstabbing, all that kind of stuff, that is done really well, and the game takes place over a lengthy period of time. You've got various cutscenes, but then they also have these narration pieces that bridge from one moment to the next, and those are done really well. Whoever's doing the narration for this game should be doing narration for a lot of other games, because that person does a really good job, and that really sets the tone and bridges the gaps for the game, and that element is done really, really well. There is a large cast of characters. Sometimes this could be, you know, a bit of a double-edged sword, because while you do have this large cast of characters, different unit types, all that good stuff, hard to develop a large cast when you do have so many characters. Obviously, there are 4 key and integral characters, that being Andreas, Fredrit, Iscarian, and then Waltequin. They all get their development, and particularly Waltequin has been probably the best character in the entire game, and her interactions with Andreas, they act as a really good foil for one another, because Andreas is very much this, like, straight man, and then Waltequin's just like a troll, and their interactions are probably, as far as character interactions go, some of the highlights of the game that I've enjoyed. I think they play off one another pretty nicely, but a lot of things happen. I don't want to get too deep into spoilers, because the narrative actually flows together very, very nicely. So if you had interest in this game from a storytelling standpoint, that element thus far, and as I'm inching closer and closer to the end of the game, that is done really, really well. So definite thumbs up as far as story thus far. A lot of mystery, a lot of intrigue, and really well told thus far. But with the large cast of characters, as I mentioned, there are some, you know, secondary and tertiary characters that are a part of your squad, but necessarily don't get a ton of development and aren't that engaging. They do have these side quests, and these side quests, honestly, some of them do just boil down to it just being a cutscene. You learn a little bit about the character, and that's it. You'll get your reward, and that's it. That's all the side quest entails. And then there are the side quests, obviously, optional battles and quests that will give you a bit more background into specific characters and whatnot. But yeah, some of the optional quests literally do boil down to just the cutscene, but I appreciated that. You know, you can do them, you can get some money doing those, and also they do give you a little bit of background on the character. So as far as the gameplay goes, you know, again, tactical games not really my cup of tea as far as JRPG battle systems and real-time tactics at that, but this is one that's super accessible and you can get into it fairly easily. Again, there is a demo available, and that'll give you a good idea of the battle system. They do introduce other elements, of course, as you progress through the game, but generally speaking, a lot of it is super, super accessible. And yes, there's definitely some challenge to the game. I think hardened tactics JRPG fans, or tactics RPG fans in general, probably want to play it on the harder difficulty. Normal is pretty accessible, and then yes, if you're not a big fan of tactics titles, but you want to get into the game for the narrative, there is an easy mode that, like, literally anybody can go through the game at easy mode. Like, don't worry about that. I would probably say stick with normal, and then again, if you are a fan of tactics titles, you can probably bump it up to hard. You've got a bunch of different unit types: a soldier, cavalier, sharpshooter, magicka, and you'll find out what works. Personally, I find something that is relatively effective, and then I tend to spam it into the ground. For example, I'll take Fredrit's full rush ability, his rush ability. where it just rushes them in, and then I'll just have Andrea swoop in like an assassin and use his assassinate ability. Seems to be a pretty effective strategy that I'm sure a lot of people are gonna end up doing. And then you have the sharpshooter, bow and arrow, and guns are in the game as well. Cavalier Frederick uses lances, but you have a character with claws. And then you have the magicers, of course, as well. Walter Quinn utilizes a staff. You've got very effective AoE meteor effects, things of that nature, wand abilities, healing, all that standard stuff. But utilizing different units in different situations is gonna be really effective, but again, you're probably going to figure out certain game plans that you like to utilize, but there's a lot of different things that you can do, mix and match different units, and you can switch up units on the fly. You're limited that 3 times a battle. But then with your main characters that you have in battle, you can also have a secondary unit with them, and you'll be able to utilize their abilities as well. So how you mix and match really offers another layer into the gameplay and requires a little bit of strategy, but ultimately, I found the game to be really, really accessible for someone that's not big into tactics titles, and I find the battle system rather enjoyable. And if tactics games are a bit slow for you, you can also double speed the game as far as battles, so the real-time aspect flows a little bit quicker. I probably wouldn't do this for the main story quests just because those are the ones that seem to be a little bit more challenging in my experience. The side quests, a lot of those are pretty straightforward and you can figure out the battle rather quickly, and then you can revisit missions if you want to do their optional objectives, which will give you items, things for upgrades, things of that nature, where don't have an ally fall in battle, finish the quest within 4, 6, 8 minutes, stuff like that. Optional treasure chests, you can always go back, revisit those battles, and then you can go through those battles at 2x speed. You can go through them quicker. If you want to grind for XP, money, anything like that, you can replay those battles at 2x speed. Go through that pretty quickly, makes it a lot more accessible in revisiting battles, or again, if you just want a faster pace to all of the battles, that is an option as well. But gameplay is rather solid from my experience. And then also, I want to talk a little bit about the upgrade system, which is a little bit reminiscent of like the sphere grid. Whenever I see like an upgrade system done like this, I always think of Final Fantasy X sphere grid system, but I really like how they do it. So there's 3 different kinds of these sphere grids. One for your skills, one for your weapons, weapon development, which will unlock new weapons for you to buy in the shop, and then one for your summonings as well. So yes, you do have summonings that you can utilize in battle. You can equip up to 2 of them. And you've got classics, of course, Bahamut, Goldenhorn, Fenrir. You'll get a bunch of them throughout the game, but you can upgrade all of these, and upgrading your skills makes your skills so much better. Now, skills are tied to your weapons, but you can have those secondary units, so you'll have a vast array of skills at your disposal, but as you upgrade them, they become so much better. Cooldown time reduced, EP cost reduced, damage increase, increased area radius, all that kind of stuff, but the upgrade system really like that as well. As I mentioned, you do have those optional objectives to do in missions, and that is what's gonna allow you for more effective upgrading when it comes to the weapons as well as the summoning upgrades, because you'll get special items for doing those objectives, and that'll offer you the option to go with those upgrades. So obviously a bit of replayability. If you don't do the optional objectives your first time through, you can always go back and do them. So obviously from a gameplay standpoint, if you play the demo, you know how the game is generally split up. You have these tactics battles that you'll deploy on, but then also outside of battle, you have kind of this hub area where you can do a bit of exploration, you can upgrade your equipment, you can upgrade your stats, you can do side quests where, again, a lot of them are just cutscenes and whatnot. You can get ready for the next battle, buy items, all that kind of stuff, and then ultimately you'll set out for battle. And the game keeps it flowing pretty easily there. There aren't these various towns to explore or anything like that, but it keeps the game flowing at a pretty nice pace. But yeah, that's generally the gist of the game. Visually, obviously, this isn't a technical masterclass showcase by any stretch of the imagination. I know some people were a little bit down from a visual standpoint, but if you're looking for a quality JRPG, if you're into tactics games, and if you want a game with a quality story, I'm really enjoying my time with DioField Chronicle, so give it a look. Maybe wait for a discount if this style of gameplay isn't your complete cup of tea. I'm sure come the holidays, you know, Black Friday, whatever, you'll be able to get it for like $35, $40, but yeah, enjoy my time with it. I'll do a full review once I've completed the game, but again, I'm trying to hit everything and do all the side content and whatnot, which there is a decent bit of that. So I'll get to the full review when I get to it, but I did want to give you guys, you know, some solid impressions after 20 or so hours with the game. Let me know your excitement level for the DioField Chronicle in the comment section down below. So far, a thumbs up from me, but I'll give you guys my full thoughts after I do complete the game. Thanks for watching. Sound off with all of your thoughts, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.